Do you miss DVD commentary tracks? Well, fear not, because I've on Friday the most scorned critic in all of YouTube. I'm here to give you commentary tracks for the movies streaming, the movies we love, and sometimes those we love to hate. Tonight, got one that I don't think any of you really particularly like. It's Street Fighter from 1994, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. But before we get started, I want to give a quick mention to my buddies over at CALDERALab.com. Do you want to not look like Charlie? Well, use the good facial serum, and you can save 15% with my promo code FRY15 at checkout. Okay, I've got an IBC root beer with me. Let's go ahead and open that up with that sweet, sweet ASMR for you right here. Yes. And we are about to watch Street Fighter from 1994 on Netflix. It's leaving at the end of the month. If you would like to watch this along with me, go ahead and go to 0000 and hit play now. All right, now I gotta wonder, was this Universal logo in 1994? This came out in December of 94. It would have been one of the first movies to use this Universal logo. I prefer the one that was more realistic, like as seen in Jurassic Park. I kind of thought it felt more epic. This is a movie. There we go. Now we've got the Universal logo I expected. So I guess the Netflix version of this is going to have an extra logo at the front. Now that looks like 1994 to me. I saw about this movie in game magazines. I got into game magazines throughout 94, 95, 6, 7, up to 99. I was really getting a lot of game magazines, really. Like if you go to the grocery store, you get a game magazine. I don't mind that Street Fighter logo, honestly, and I think that some of that gets incorporated into the games in some aspects, but Crisis in Shadowloo. Kind of want to hear how they pronounce Shadowloo, because I've heard somebody say Shadow Law. I can't remember if that was in an animated film or what exactly. Ming-Na Wen. There are a number of familiar faces in this film, and I do have a personal connection to it through the casting. We'll get into that. This is actually directed by Stephen E. D'Souza. I think he's writer of a number of decent movies, including Die Hard. And I think this was one of the rare turns at the director's chair for him. Twitter used to recommend accounts similar to you, and it said that I was similar to Stephen A. D'Souza, and I took that as a compliment. All right, haven't really been listening to Ming-Na Wen here. I have not seen this movie in a while. Oh, it's probably been close to 10 years at this point. But this is not one I enjoy rewatching. This is one of those astonishing $20 billion. Oh, we'll pay that right away now. 63 hot. Man, that's quite a fall for them, too. You'd die falling that far. Andrew Bernisky. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I tried to look it up before doing this. People will praise Raul Julia endlessly. I think he does good. He looks kind of like how Bison could look, okay? But consider the following. He died before the movie got released. It ends with, in memory of, right? I think that is a big part of why he's praised here, though people really like him as Gomez Adams, of course. Man, I think Andrew here though is perfect for Zangief. Now you can't find guys that are 7 feet, but you can find a jacked guy that's 6'5", right? Written and directed by Stephen E. D'Souza. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be something of a give him the finger. And also, I think that you son of a bitch right there. I think that was intended to thwart a G rating. The movie was originally screened getting through the MPAA an R, which seems outlandish. I mean, what did we see a lot of Ming now instead of when? But no, yeah, I don't know what was happening to get an R rating. Knocked it down to G, and they said, okay, guy, we got to have Guile cuss just to get up to a PG-13 because the G teenagers ain't gonna want to see a G. E Honda got kicked out of the van by Cammy. Cammy cast they cast Kylie Minogue. I think they might have been shooting around or in Australia, and then they demand an Australian star be attached. Stephen A. D'Souza saw her on a magazine on a flight, I think, and so it was like, well, I guess that works. So hey, it pays to be in magazines, at least in the 90s, right? I actually did some graphic art stuff for a model, a kind of supermodel, but she was on Dancing with the Stars. Anyways, her people were upset because I wasn't using images from covers, and they really stressed covers instead of photo shoots or whatever. So wait, Carlos, Charlie, you're Guile's friend. Now I need to look this up. I believe Charlie was mentioned in the games, that he was somebody Guile wanted revenge on Bison for, and then they bring Charlie Nash in, and he has like Guile's kit. It kind of works out because it's like, look, if we're gonna do Alpha and it's gonna be before the first Street Fighter, and we can't have Guile there, or we shouldn't, I guess, story conflict, whatever. How about we then incorporate Charlie? He's his friend. They train together. There you go. They got the same moveset. Kylie Minogue is about 5 feet tall. She might actually be shorter than that. She might be like a 4'11", like a Jada Pinkett sort of. Byron Mann and a guy I don't remember the name of as Ken and Ryu. Of course, Ryu is very much the star of the series. Ken's closely related to that. It's not Guile, but they decide to make Guile the guy here. Vega, we just saw real quick. Not a bad looking getup for Vega. Easily better than the guy from Black Eyed Peas that they got for Legend of Chun-Li, right? And here's my connection, guys. Sagat, West Studi. Doesn't do a whole ton here. He's supposed to be just like king of the underground drug scene, something like that. Please offer him man, both those girls 90s hot right there, man. You offer up girls now, they're gonna look trashy. Don't recall ever seeing Bison in this kind of getup. This guy, neither of these guys could look for like Ken and Ryu very much, but Guile's kind of got the right color if you go by like, Hyper Fighting, I think, has him in the blue. Reclining Buddha statue, similar. Oh, Benny the Jet Urquidez. I think he did all the martial arts training for the crew. Now, here's the thing. When I worked with West Studi in the summer of 2007, I was looking forward to meeting him because at the time, he was listed as 6'6", 6.5 feet tall. And I think it's because there was a conception that, well, he's playing a guy who's 7'4" in a video game, so he must be really quite tall to have been cast as such, right? I mean, he's like Mr. Native American actor, right? But we got him here as a Thai kickboxer. You just shot tennis balls out of this like modified Nerf gun, and you're still going to commit to using that as a weapon, guys. So Ken and Ryu are in the weapons trade. Like, hey, here's a clever idea. Let's load up some Nerf guns. The movie gets goofier. This is one of the few films I have rated, and I haven't been diligent with my ratings on IMDb since lockdown, really. But I gave this a 1 out of 10. And you have to question, is this even the worst video game movie? We got Dulcim here. Dulcim. Some of these names you're only learning for the first time, possibly when you're hearing this. You didn't hear Ryu at the arcade or at home, and we all called him Ryu. And now I still find myself fighting against saying Ryu. So we're experimenting on Carlos, making him Blanca. In actuality, Blanca and Carlos are not the same. We've taken some liberties with the game's lore. I don't think that the games really had that good of a storyline. Every character had an ending, and only really through the ending did you understand what they were there for. I mean, they'll also say, go back home, be a family man. There'll be things like that, and then Guile ultimately becomes a family man, right? The endings changed a little bit between Street Fighter 2 and ultimately Super Turbo. This movie made money. $33 million budget, I think 8 of which went to Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know what Raul Julia's cut was, but what does it matter? He died before it came out, right? But this was not a huge amount. In fact, it seems a little weird we're not seeing Van Damme right at the moment. DNA mutagens. Let's make sure we put that on the bag. Of course, I don't even know if that latest Tomb Raider movie's total crap, but we know Mortal Kombat Annihilation is trash, right? This seems to know it is. This seems to be camp in a way similar that it's aimed at, like the template they were looking at was the Batman 66 with Adam West, right? So at least that's kind of how I feel about it. All right, so Vega, he gets to fight with a mask and a claw. I mean, is that really fair? But then again, what are we doing? Are we doing like a 2-on-1 thing? Like, I don't remember exactly how this goes, but damn, Vega's got a honey with him. And I mean, this guy playing Vega, he's built. There is some good casting here. And look, who else would you have gotten to play Cammy? She's not crazy tall. She's like 5'3" or something like that. She's not... I think she actually lists in the game shorter than Chun-Li. Vega's supposed to be Spanish. Obviously, you know, the game's in Japan. They flip the names around, and I think he's Balrog. Bison is supposed to be play M. Bison, Mike Tyson. That's the boxer. And it's Vega is actually the warlord Bison, but not so much in this. And in fact, they didn't even change the names when they do the Japanese dub. Nor did they change stuff around from the way it's presented in the game or in the movie versus the game. There was an arcade and I think PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Street Fighter the movie, the game, which is possibly the funniest title of any video game still. Iron Man, quite skinny. Last saw him in a Steven Seagal film, which I think might have actually been the last Steven Seagal film to get a theatrical release. No weapons, no weapons. Okay, fine. I don't need it. But he goes on about like how he's the pretty fighter or something like that, right? Well, I guess you want to keep the mask on so you can remain the pretty fighter. Okay, so what are we doing here? Ryu versus Vega, except what if Kin has to go next? Like what was the stipulations? You know, one thing I think we would like in our Street Fighter movie is probably some street fighting. So why don't we just interrupt that with a tank? Now, look, I know he's said to be Colonel Guile here, right? Would he not be reprimanded for using a tank like that? Like, just the unnecessary damage, possible loss of life, all kinds of stuff. But hey, United Nations, we get to do whatever we want. I suppose that Australia could pass for British enough, right? And she may not even really be British. There's something about her being a clone of Bison. The like all total lore for Street Fighter, very confusing stuff. Oh, just another assassination attempt. No big deal. Shadow Lu. They said Shadow Lu. I know I've heard Shadow Law places. There was a Street Fighter, I think it was called Street Fighter the animated series, even though, and look, I know when you attach animated series to stuff, it's like, wow, this is serious, this isn't a cartoon. It was total crap, but it also put Guile at the head of the table. Guile was like the main featured guy. It might have been in like 95-ish. I think Mortal Kombat had a cartoon, that both of these being on USA, almost like in a block, and neither of them being any good. And I watched a little bit of it. I know you can look up the goofs on YouTube, and that, believe me, that'll suffice. Makeshift claw in the prison. Oh yeah, we've got this prison. It's like right next to our headquarters. We can kind of just like peer out the window here. Ryu Hoshi? Ryu has a last name. Hold up. I was just thinking about this. By the way, fighting games are having a renaissance right now, aren't they? All right. I don't even honestly remember the plot of what they're trying to do here, but something we got to use Sagat to somehow lead to Bison, whatever, introduce us to Bison. Things are going to get really corny. I'm trying to find Ryu. Last name Street Fighter. Come on. Doesn't have an official last name. Capcom, by the way, co-financier of this film, had a lot of say in it. Kept wanting more and more things included. Now, look, when you have an expanding roster, they got, what, at least 16 fighters at the time of this? I think they got quite a few. Hold on, was it 16? Let's see, 8 and World Warrior, right? Plus the 4 bosses. That's 12. You got Cammy, T-Hawk. I don't think Warang is in this. You got a lot anyways. They actually even have to add Akuma to Street Fighter the movie, the game. Hey, we've been stealing from criminals. We're the good guys. I don't even think you can get Guile with a beret in any Street Fighter. I could be wrong. Maybe he has that as an alternate costume, whatever. Isn't Street Fighter 6 due for some collabs in terms of costumes? Street Fighter X Transformers. You want Guile to look like Optimus Prime, don't you? Clearly not 6'6". I don't know why I was expecting to be taller, but 07, I didn't have super ready access to this. It wasn't necessarily streaming. I couldn't immediately look at it and be like, oh, he's clearly not that tall. Come on now. Oh, we're staging an escape. Amazing fighting skills out of Ken and Ryu. That's exactly what we come to expect. Is that our first fight in the movie? Is that what we're going to call that? West Studi said Ryu. I know West Studi must be thinking, man, these are some corny lines I'm going to have to try to sell here. Now, you got to keep in mind, Sagat is the original boss, and it seems weird that he's like the boss in Street Fighter, and then he seemingly works for Bison come Street Fighter 2. And after that, I don't even really know what happens with the lore at all. They just kept making Street Fighters 2s, it seemed, for so long. By the time 3 comes out in 97, the fighting craze was already dying. It was on the way out. Like, by the time I mean, maybe 95 was about the end of it, really, with Mortal Kombat 3. No one was playing Mortal Kombat 4. They switched to polygons and it looked like garbage. Brought in weird weapons. Oh no! Ken shot Guile. This must be for serious. Alright, you gained my trust. But Ming Na here, Chun-Li, she's like, I don't know about this. Smell a rat. Oh, let's do a little flip. Wow, was that a stunt double? Do you want your actress rolling on a street, on that pavement? All right, you hope that tracking device adheres to that canvas in that pocket, huh? Guile dipping out like this in truth would be like executive decision what they did to Steven Seagal. Did that kill his career? Was that like a metaphorical thing? I heard he was like so hard to work with that they just kind of like wrote him out of the movie. I was expecting, oh, well, this Steven Seagal. So he grabbed onto something and he's hanging under the plane. Like he got in another way. Like there would be something would happen. It's like, nope, we land the plane without him. Nope, it's the whole thing. Bisonopolis. Why, that's a catchy name. Never envisioned DJ as one of the lackeys of Bison. Maybe, you know, maybe Zangief as well. You don't really picture as such. Colonel William F. Guile. You're telling me Guile isn't his first name, so my dream to name my firstborn son Guile has been a lie? Curse you! Now, we know Raul Julia, very sick, has cancer at the time shooting the film even, and it was apparent. There are times where you can see he's looking pretty gaunt. And so I think they had to try to schedule this in a manner in which he had put on enough pounds to fill out the suit or something, or to be able to walk around and the like. He also gives us like big bravado type performance. I think that in some way, it's almost like the standard bearer performance for live action kind of campy villain. There are other people who try to be like M. Bison in the film. I mean, not in this film, but you can see. Maybe it would be more of a kids targeted demo type movie where you would expect this kind of villain. Not too scary, but very full of himself. And that hat, it's got so much height to it just for that logo, doesn't it? See, he's a good guy. He's trying to spread peace. There you go. As long as everybody bows to him, it'll be peaceful. I mean, it checks out, right? So hard with that logo. He's got to shape buildings as such. DJ's not buying it. The DJ Zangief pairing, sort of a couplet of comic relief. I say comic relief, but there's not a lot to be taken seriously in this. It's got quite the camp vibe. Ah, so we're expecting them to keep using that truck. Okay, gotcha. That's who we're following. And this guy playing Balrog, not exactly the guy they got for Mortal Kombat Annihilation to be Jax, right? So is her name Chun-Li Zhang? They said Zhang. I think it might actually be Zhang. There probably should have been an H there. I'm not so sure. Ooh, dressed in black. And by the way, I think this guy here who knocked on the door, is he not? Oh gosh, I think I mentioned him earlier. T-Hawk. I think he's supposed to be. Ming Na still looks pretty not bad. She's probably about 60. Of course, with this outfit, it's pretty easy to stunt double. All right, so we're about to encounter what might be the dumbest aspect of the film, or close to it. And it's dumb because it doesn't play for a laugh like some other stupid things that happen. Dang, she is skinny. All right, so she was following a tracker that was put on the truck, but instead is using the tracker, but it's going to the morgue where she finds Guile's body. Which is kind of like, huh? So it's not even an example of, I thought you were alive, I wanted to make sure, aha, so it was a trick, right? It's more of like, oh, I thought I was trying to follow the tracker on the truck, and instead, Now to get even dumber, he does this like, haha, I was waiting for you, reporter. All right, so I faked my death. Ken and Ryu are cooperating with us, which we showed that to the audience, so this shouldn't even be a surprise. So he laid there on the slab, specifically waiting for Chun-Li to be Snoopy, except I don't think she really intended. It's not like I think this is Seb. Is he still alive? So she kind of came across this. It's so weird. And if she didn't follow the trail, then what, right? Yeah, so she's a reporter, but M. Bison slaughtered her village, killed her family. Got to get some revenge, right? And this dude, obviously, if he's supposed to be T-Hawk, I mean, there's a chasm of height difference. I think T-Hawk actually might have been taller or than Sagat, and maybe even heavier than Zangief. But we've got like a used car lot of armaments. Share that entertainment, Bison. Clearly, we see there E Honda and Balrog. Balrog, I think, is actually in the cartoon. Let's actually call it what it is, cartoon, right? The USA Street Fighter the Animated Series. I think Balrog's actually on Bison's team. Like he's one of the bosses in the game. One of the 4 bosses you can't pick in Street Fighter 2 Basic Edition. Vanilla. And then you have to think, well, okay, so all of them are aligned with Bison, right? What? She wasn't in there? Is this as close as we get to a kind of Chun-Li outfit? Explosive finale. Were we gonna blow up everybody here? Oh, but we don't want to kill Ken and Ryu. Is that it? Miguel Nunez, kind of bad in everything he's in, if we're being real. I had a comic book that came out about this time. It didn't run for very many issues. And in it, it was as if Ken and Ryu were childhood friends with Chun-Li, and it was strange. And then there was like one of the best illustrated parts. There was like I think it might have been like Ken and Chun-Li kissing, or it was Ryu and Chun-Li kissing. And that was like, and the rest of it, just kind of, everybody looked beady-eyed and weird. I think it ran for a few issues. You can see YouTube channels that actually talk about the whole volume, but all right, so Sagat's got to supply some real armaments to Bison, right? Not that Nerf. AN, not United Nations, but what, Allied Nations? What? Is your money any good? And doesn't he give him, I'm trying to recall her, doesn't he give him, like, try to offer him not real money? Like, these are Bison bucks. They're way better than American dollars. Come on. What is with the helmets on those guys? Yep, there we are. A Bison dollar worth 5 British pounds. British pounds trade pretty favorably compared to an American dollar at the time there. Sagat's like, no, I wanted American dollars. I'm out of here. Like, so has Bison been paying everybody in Bison dollars? Like, all of his henchmen, guys, we'll get a joke about it later. But everybody is just on board for that perspective, getting in at the rock bottom floor of the Bison dollar, I guess. Can you imagine trying to do this now? It's like, crypto, that hasn't been launched yet. Vega, very much like an assassin that works for Bison, but here, working for Sagat. Walk into the middle of a bunch of guns drawn. Yep. And Bison doesn't have, okay, look, as silly as the concepts here are, at least Bison was driven by the fighting in the anime, right? Oh, hey, I want to kidnap the fighters and then like process whose stats, you know. Now this gets really dumb here. Hey, we got a little TV thing going here. By the way, we're going to drive this truck full of explosives at you. Oh no. It's coming straight towards us. And here we go. Oh my god. That is the Batman camp right there. Zangief asking to change the channel. That'll stop the truck. because we were watching it on TV, but it's actually coming towards us. The halcyon days of actual fiery explosions in movies, even though some of them look kind of like fireworks, but you get the idea. Nowadays, it would look like CGI garbage. Of course, they didn't fall for it, and I mean, why? Was that really the best they could do with an explosive? Wasn't paying attention there. Did that screen graphics reveal that Chun-Li, Balrog, and E Honda are actually agents of some kind instead of just reporters that are very aggressive and having a vendetta also? Well, I guess it's up to Guile, Cammy, and T-Hawk to save the day now that everybody's kind of been captured. Also, we had that satellite with less than thrilling graphics. Exactly, right? Not something that you can really revisit and be like, wow, yeah, that's impressive stuff. Take the journalist to my chambers. Ooh, that's quite ominous. A private interview. Ooh. How exactly did the three of them get caught? I mean, we kind of just glossed over it with, text from the satellite. What, they got spotted on the satellite and some guys got them, but kind of seems like something should have happened. Hey, we set up a trap, the explosive, we had a getaway, right? There's the hostages. An attack from the air is impossible. Probably not. Maybe more like is expensive. And I think the Thai government didn't approve. So, hey, stealth boats, guys. And there will be a time where cool stealth boats in the mid 90s was quite the rage. I think Thunder in Paradise with Hulk Hogan had like a similar stealth boat thing happening. Let's make a whole show about a stealth boat. Well, who can we get? Also, Hulk Hogan. And Jack Lemmon's son. Of course, I think we actually shoot some of Mortal Kombat, 95 Mortal Kombat in Thailand also. Little weird. We've got like a kink shaming thing happening here. Like you're trying to lash E Honda and he's not feeling it. Yeah, I think that was this guy Hawaiian. It's pretty far cry from looking like E Honda. Aside from maybe weight. Don't really recognize either of these guys from anything. I'm sorry, but... Well, we managed to get Ken and Ryu in their correct uniforms. Close to it, anyhow. Want to take, I mentioned the video map there. You always have the matrix of TVs, right? The wall of TVs fixed together, showing like, one picture is always the cool thing to do in the 90s. I played Donkey Kong Country on such a setup. And I mean, it's not anything happened, but Bison was showing off his thing. I don't know if it does one big picture or there's a whole bunch of separate ones, but yeah, there's so in the 90s there was a lot of the stacking of the TVs on the wall. That was supposed to be like the impressive power play thing to do. Negotiate, says pompous British guy. Yeah, Guile understands economics. He'll just take more guys and then keep getting paid. Yeah, I said blue camo, but there's some green and red in there. Oh, now we've got a ruckus speech here. Maybe LeBron James can borrow these and inspire the Lakers. Yeah, somebody please quote this at like a Democrat national convention. See what happens. What was ever stopping these guys from going to his headquarters? I don't fully get it, but now we've decided, right? Was his headquarters all that secretive? At least in the anime film, you had to like open up a statue on a mountain to kind of go inside. Now, yeah, the statue's face kind of well, I say statue, but is it this woman's running around, she's got one shoe off, like I want to go too, but I've got high heels. Let's see, it's a statue if you kind of have to cast it out of bronze or something, but it's a sculpture maybe. Though we don't do we is Mount Rushmore a sculpture or a statue? What are we sculpture? Monument? Stealth boat action, guys. Yeah, they like to use that radar near the surface to find boats coming in. So that's why you need a stealth boat that makes a loud noise that... I mean, the river's only so wide. How could you ever see this boat go down it, right? So cool. I think I had a chance to see this in theaters. We were driving, maybe my best friend was with his family, and I think we went to the movie theater in December 94, and I don't recall what we saw, but it wasn't this, right? Oh, it looks like Bison's gonna change into something a little more comfortable for this private interview. Why, he may as well be Gomez Adams. Okay, so didn't her father? Okay, so he didn't destroy her village, but her dad died saving the village, and here we go. Here's his witty retort. For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. Memeing before there is memeing. Yeah, it's campy, but it's also weirdly threatening. Like there might be a way to repurpose that in a more serious movie. But you see how he also he had to keep a hat, right? So he changed his cap to like a velour cap to kind of like match his robe smoking jacket thing he's going on over there. He's trying to be like Hugh Hefner and Gomez Adams in some way, but they're wearing the Bison gear. Yeah, still really haven't seen a lot of fighting in our Street Fighter movie. Chun-Li kind of wearing attire like in the game, like now she had those like cloth like cup things over the buns and the hair, right? And some string something. But I think maybe in Alpha they kind of removed that, and then she just had the bun, and it might have even been, relatively short hair with no streamers or whatever. Was the plan to wine and dine her? Man, the logo is everywhere. He's even got his logo's the fireplace. He had a logo on a chair. He's got a logo in the spear in his drink, the skewer. I think she could have done a better job getting close to him. Like, okay, let him think that he's seducing me. Stab him, pin in the hair, whatever. Like, she could have been more deceptive with this. The sets also strike me as very very camp. Like, look at this door, the way they're pounding on this door, right? And then they're going to fill the room with gas. So he's got like a trap room to poison people, but he has an escape safer. And then they slowly go to the door, and it doesn't even shut with authority, and it looks flimsy. Just wow. Oh no, the gas has got us. Everyone fall down. Ugh. Wow, that was corn. And the shot to Raul Julia, just nothing's working on that scene, guys. Some of the cornier stuff in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I would love to do a commentary track for, it just isn't streaming on anything that doesn't have ads. I see it on Tubi. Can't do a commentary track for Tubi. But the goofy stuff comes fast and furious in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's blink and miss. It keeps you on your toes. It moves along. This feels slow. I'm taking my boat. I'm going up that river. I'm going to kick that bison ass, right? It's finally, are we showing up? It kind of just looks like we're parading the boat around town, like village or whatever. Just goodness. Yeah, we've got a cassette player. Dang, who is playing Guile's wife or a girl or whoever? Jeez. My buddy Carlos kind of looking like, I don't know, what do we even call that? What's that Halloween place that they even had a movie? Yeah, it's the whole Spirit Halloween, right? Is he Spirit Halloween by Blanca here? Like, it's bad. I don't think I've seen a Spirit Halloween. I see Party Cities pop up. Oh yes, the fancy anti-carpal tunnel busting keyboards of the day. Everybody has to have a weird slanted keyboard. What ends up really ultimately happening? Well, we just end up with smaller keyboards that are attached to a computer, and we put them on our lap, and that's kind of just the way we rolled with it, isn't it? The ergonomic keyboard of the 90s never really caught on. We couldn't really figure out what we wanted to do with those. There's always a different philosophy. I last saw a keyboard, like as weird fancy stuff goes. There was like a laser keyboard that could point on your desk, and then so you didn't have to carry a keyboard with you, but you had this little laser thing. And the idea was a small footprint, okay? But now you have to push on a hard surface that doesn't have the give to it that usually plastic keys would. Surely less satisfying. All right, we're back in our warlord outfit. Oh, now we can use stealth. Yep, let's bring our visors down. Why? I don't know. Okay, so does stealth make you faster too? Like, what are we... Now, people that don't do terrible in this is... Suffice to say, is Kylie Minogue serviceable as Cammy? You get to see them in their like more appropriate game attire in Street Fighter the movie, the game. And she is in that like one-piece leotard, and there are production stills, and let me tell you, you want to look that stuff up. You actually get to play as Jean-Claude Van Damme. I guess that, you know, they have the whole crew doing the motion capture. Raul Julia, I kind of think probably not. The game doesn't come out till like 95, I think, but you know, he may not have been available for that shoot, right? Oh no, they know we're it's like, what exactly is stealth? Because it was like more like active camo, except not terribly convincing. But we're calling it stealth. But then they were also off the radar because it's stealth. So what are we doing? The goofy helmet thing seems to be a carryover from 70s sci-fi. As far as the goofy helmets on the like foot soldiers of the Shadowloo, everybody wanted to copy Star Wars. So everybody had some goofy take on a stormtrooper, right? Now, I don't know of boats having the name of the pilot on there, how this has like Colonel William F. Guile, right? Like it's an F-14, it's going to say Lieutenant Pete Mitchell, Maverick Mitchell there, right? So the famous, of course. And yeah, we got that big TV doing the Matrix setup. I don't even know how you program that, but they did it back in the day. Lots of showing off of this module that floats around. Never anything that Bison uses in the games. I don't think it ever gets incorporated. But here, I think it has arcade parts that it's controlled with. So we'll take a look here. Chun-Li Zhang. I have a feeling that is not her name in the games. Of course. Yep, there it is. Oh yeah, and it's even got the Street Fighter, the Super Street Fighter 2 big blue arcade artwork by the sticks, and you got the 6 buttons and the 2 sticks. Well, I mean, okay, he's kind of playing 2 people's spot here in a way. So we have to incorporate the arcade cabinet into this, and he's going to use the arcade cabinet to try to activate mines nearby. It's corny. I guess I'm just somewhat relieved that there's an actual boat going down a river and there's actual water. Got except they were making some kind of plans to bail. Game over. I think that was all over the trailers, the TV spots. You got to say game over. It's a movie that's based on a video game. The video game based movies had such a bad rap early. Super Mario Brothers, this Mortal Kombat was not super well received. I think it is actually good. But I mean, even the Mortal Kombat faithful could have issues with it. It's not nearly as violent as the games. But then you just didn't see the game movies for a while. Now we're kind of come full circle. Like we have some decent game movies. And then now it's back to bad. Borderlands, right? I'm saying bad. I haven't seen it, but everybody's hating it. It's a huge bomb. Is this a fight? Is this our first fight in a Street Fighter movie? It's Dulcim versus nobody. Actually, Chun-Li kind of fought in Bison. Man, to call this stuff fights. There was a wire flying kick. That was about it. Every other game based on a fighting franchise tended to do a little bit of fighting. Or a game based on movie based on a fighting franchise game. I mean, there were certainly fights in Mortal Kombat, right? I mean, and you could even say that it borrowed one too few many pages from Enter the Dragon. You guys want some smokes? No, I'm good. Okay, here, I'll take one. Oh. How come we don't have the goofy helmets? Instead, we got like these cool visors so that we can have smokes. Did she say thrust kick? I think there might have been an effort there at a Frankensteiner. Which at the time this movie comes out, let's see, is Super Turbo, where they had to have that in mind. And she had the hooligan move in that one, but she didn't in Super. But you kind of had a basic throw. She was a terrible character when added. Really bad. It took a few games for Cammy to get good. It's really not till she gets the Killer Bee outfit that she's serviceable. Hey, I gotta kind of put on some kind of game motif here. Let's just kind of get some like ADR there to kind of yeah. Hey, I'm wearing a Cherokee headdress thing. Yeah, in the battle, you guys should have done some too. Okay, good. Gosh, does this feel a little more like Tomb Raider before Tomb Raider? Now the big joke with when it comes to the live action Street Fighters, always got to say, people, the Western audience isn't too familiar with it, but City Fighter, goofy weird movie from Jackie Chan. Yeah, hey, maybe he did Chun-Li better. There certainly is fighting in that as Street Fighter characters, which is more than you can say for this. Now, my understanding of it was that there was a toy line for this, that the plan was that this movie and the cartoon would kickstart a toy franchise similar to G.I. Joe, that they thought they were launching the next G.I. Joe, but with the live action and the American cartoon. Looks like these guys aren't paying. What are we going to do? It didn't pan out, by the way. The toy thing did not pan out. Oh, now Cammy's looking a little more Cammy. But kind of like in the way that she is in Fortnite, where it's like, no, we can't do the exposed legs thing. That's a little too scandalous. And ladies, if you're going to do the Cammy cosplay, you can't forget the camo paint on the legs. Come on now. And I know you don't like to do the scar on the cheek. Yeah, we recorded Hostage Pit Open. That goofy, the concept of we had some woman record lines for our automated hostage pit. You see that happen also in movies where like there's a countdown and it'll be 3, 2, 1, the self-destruct. Have a nice day. Kaboom. Explode. Like they would actually put that in their computer systems, right? Hydrofluorolylic acid. I wonder if that's even real. Oh no, Blanca's attacking Guile. Don't you recognize me? You shouldn't. The transformation process has clouded my memory. Can we undo it? Wow, that shot there was so low res. I just don't even know. I'll have to go back and look and see if that... Just the shot where Blanca is like, what have they done to me? It was like potato... Oh, don't worry. Here, I'll put you down, but don't worry. I'll make them pay. It's the right thing to do. I mean, you got to do this macho 90s thing. You got to do the of mice and men type thing, right? Nope. Dulcim changed his mind. Like, hey, nope. Maybe we can fix him or something, right? These boats are taking their sweet time. Oh, you assume Blanca's got the energy to kill all these people? Haha, yes, raising incubation chamber. Could you not have added some foam or latex muscles, something to make this guy look like a jacked beast? Now, okay, so Bison, he wants to build Bisonopolis, but he also wants to have mutants that for because Blanca's in the game. Like, I mean, that's really about all he can do. Oh, we seem to be constructing the pit here with all these spikes coming up, right? The pit Mortal Kombat stage. That is an impossible jump. Oh my god. Secretly, Guile is in there. So was that supposed to be kind of like a flash kick? Like we're trying to do... I think he does a flash kick later. But he just jumped 30 feet with no momentum. He wasn't running and jumping or nothing. Just stand and launch. Remember, we have those bells in the background of a stage, so there's a bell there. All right, are these boats going to get there and help you guys out or not? Well, they tried to give Cammy her gloves. The gloves people like to wear for the cosplay that have the odd, like can opener elbow pad. Those don't come in till the Killer Bee outfit. In like 96. Oh, E Honda, the sumo strength versus the Russian wrestler. Firing that gun pretty close to where you have Ryu and Ken jumping in front of you. Sagat and Vega, of course, do a good job of standing by and watching this happen. Oh no, that metal they just broke. It sure looked kind of like it was some kind of flimsy, I don't know, plastic or, not metal, but Blanca, huh? Do you guys say Blanca? Not a commercial. Wow, Cammy and T-Hawk here have been pinned down at the base of these steps for a while, right? But finally backup has arrived, kind of. Wow, this is just so cheesy. DJ's like, huh? Face defeat? I've hardly even said anything in this movie. I've just kind of observed that I want to dip out of this, but there we go. Now you can face defeat alone there, Bison. You're not paying me enough. But yeah, we'll get to hearing about his pay in a minute. Come on, guy. Ryu, we got to run another con in another warlord sanctuary. All of the cronies, they're all going, that sort of thing. At one point, that became an often something of a trope where you'd have the SWAT team go in, going, hut, 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 hut. I'm trying to think where that came up first. It might have been earlier than this. Probably some spoof type movie, but you always have to have like the SWAT guys. They're talking as they're going in, right? Yeah, I'm holding a switchblade, and all these guys with guns are looking a little intimidated. Like, haha, yeah. They were so concerned about what I could do with this knife. Yeah, great joke to be revealed that everybody's staying behind them with guns. Unarmed combat. Why would this be like a one-on-one fighting game, you say? Yeah, let's use some lines from the arcade. from our windscreens, right? I do think that Guile has a Stars and Stripes tattoo on the shoulder. I think so. We have to have this fight. The purity of unarmed combat. Next, you made me a happy man. Next, I'll make you a dead one. Ooh, too soon. Oh, we're fighting on the model and we're making Godzilla sound effects. Yeah. While we have the Japanese people view it. Yeah. Someone could probably call that racist. Oh, that would have hurt as all hell falling into that arcade stick pod. And then they're standing up like they just kind of cuts to them standing up, but they fell like face first. No. Did we need this bell here? This pod also prominent on the poster. I think there's a flash kick. I don't think there's a sonic boom. Oh, Balrog has found punching boxing gloves, and we're doing boxing as if the Three Stooges did it. Flash kick, yes. Oh, double flash kick. Oh, yeah, everything. There's always electrocution in the 90s, right? You always got to whip out the hand-drawn lighting effects when you can. Kind of an impressive device. 94, we got something of a Game Boy. Well, a Game Gear. It's got a color screen, but we're communicating here. If only Bison could have sold these to the public, then probably could have built Bisonopolis legit. All right, so I'm a little confused as to how this device is administering adrenaline and the like. I mean, that was his control pod, wasn't it? In the game, and maybe it was more so in the instruction manual, I think he mentioned like the Psycho Fist, like the power of that, whatever. And I don't really think that comes up here. He also doesn't shoot lightning bolts. My mama didn't raise no fool. What'd you run off with? Bison bucks? I mean, come on. Oh man, I tried to go get the treasure. That's a statue. We'll give that a shot. In the touch screens of the day were terrible, guys. Oh no, Ryu. It is Ryu, right? We're going to actually have to fight somebody. How about Vega? When this was being teased up in the magazines at the time, the only picture you had was a picture of Vega, and it looked like it was from his first scene in the movie. But you saw the claw, you saw Vega there with the mask and the claw, and you thought, wow, this looks pretty exciting. They really nailed that. You get the rest of this right, this is going to be a heck of a movie, right? And that was all you had to go with, was just one picture in a magazine in 94. And now Bison flies. He's kind of turned himself into Magneto. Oh, yep, he's kind of got a move like this in the game. There we go. Except we found all the spinning and the fist and the flames and stuff. I guess kind of what he just did was more like what Raiden does in Mortal Kombat. Sagat with the taped up hands. That's game-ish, right? A little bit of effort was made. Oh yeah, so impressive flying at people. Well, at least there's some fighting at this point in the movie. Whatever kind of fighting this is, yeah. Oh, I think we may have just thrown a Hadouken, or at least we pantomimed it. This goofy sound effects, like, oh, you kick the stuffing out of the ball, it makes like a goose sound or something. Like, come on. Oh no, you burned him, except it didn't look like you were even burning him. I don't know. Some effort at a dragon punch, but maybe they could have flipped the roles here because it was Kin doing the dragon punch to Sagat just now. And I mean, it was just kind of like a very flamboyant uppercut more than a dragon punch. All right, so to act like you're one of the good guys, you're not going to steal the statue? Okay. Stealing is bad, even if it's from bad guys. I think Raul Julia is having fun here. My understanding of it is he took the role because has a kid that liked the games. Not a guile move, but that the signature Van Damme helicopter kick, right? Yeah, we got to kick him into the TVs. That'll do it. Big explosion. Now he's finished. Wow, this is some really underexposed film. Hundred hand slap. Oh, here we go. Funny line. DJ's making off with the loot. Wait, he's the bad guy? Yeah. Here we go. You got paid. Whoa, wait, why am I here? I'm here for fun. It's a funny line. I don't know. Look, if your aim is to have a goofy Zangief, I think that they achieved that. Do you want a goofy Zangief in your Street Fighter movie? Oh, we just made fun of the buns on her hair too. Cammy and Chun-Li got a bit of a rivalry thing happening in this, don't they? Now just about everybody has had a face turn, right? It's only in the last few minutes, it seems like, did DJ become Jamaican, right? Man, Netflix doesn't like there being fog in the scene at all, like encoding. Dulcim just lost all of his hair, and he's going to stay behind along with Blanca. Like, nah, we've experienced too much evil, whatever. It's too late for us. I don't know. Here's that countdown. Oh, you're not going to give us the have a nice day? DJ and Sagat are making off with a trunk that they haven't looked into. Yeah, let's open this up. What else could it be? Oh, you can see he's got the scar now. Sagat does. The scar on the chest. It sure didn't look like whatever, anything happened to him would have done that, but I need a vacation. Is that a dig at Arnold's line near the end of Terminator 2? Kind of feels like it, doesn't it? And they would have worked on. Actually, was Van Damme part of Planet Hollywood? Maybe it wasn't big enough. Maybe it was Stallone, Willis, Schwarzenegger, not Van Damme. I'm not sure. Van Damme wanted to command a lot of money. 94 was his biggest year. Time Cop, I think, was his all-time biggest movie. And it's, you know, pretty meager by any standards, but... Yep. DJ and Sagat not making any money at all. But anyway, he wanted the Jim Carrey type, the Jim Carrey, Julia Roberts standard sort of, hey, 20 million a picture, as they were commanding in the 90s, the big stars were. And they're like, nope, screw you. Hang up on the phone. We don't need to be putting you in anything, really. Okay, big explosions. Got everybody lined up. Let's hit our victory poses, people. Did that say Cammy laughing at the end there, or Chun-Li laughing? Anyway, Vio con Dios, Raul Julia. Well, there's actually a scene after the credits. I don't really recall this happening here, but kind of take a look at it in advance here. You guys can kind of listen to this before you see it. Solar batteries online, huh? Are we trying to reveal that Blanca and Dulcim survived? Oh, Bison's alive? Let's try world domination again. What? So that does it for Street Fighter. What do you think about this one in relation to worst video game movies? It seems to at least know that it's camp, right? Till next time, adios.